Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. I'm your host, Amy Beltran, CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through my signature online coaching program, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. If you like this podcast, you're going to love my group coaching program. If you want to learn more about my Irresistible You program, including the investment, what's included, to see client testimonials, and to sign up and enroll, please head over to irresistibleicing.com/course. The link is also in the show notes. Welcome to the podcast, guys. Welcome to this week. If you are new here, hello. If you are an OG listener, welcome back. We are going on a little over 2 years now with the podcast, and that is just crazy. So today we are going to be talking all about patience in your weight loss journey or your lack of patience. So this is just so important because if you have, I think, any amount of weight that you have to lose is, an accomplishment. It's not an easy thing necessarily to do. But I think really, when you have 50 plus pounds or 100 plus pounds or more, it can feel defeating before you even start your journey. It can feel just like wondering how this is ever going to happen for you because when you're sitting there and you feel so bad in your skin, you feel so foreign in the body that you're in right now, it may not feel like the effort you're putting in is even putting a dent in your weight. And you know what I mean? So, like, I'll use me as an example. I am back on the weight loss bandwagon, if you will, after having my son Javi at the end of October. And, I had a lot of complications after that. So it was just I had a very challenging time. And my body, it took a toll on my body. This pregnancy took a toll on me, my emotions. It was just very difficult. And I've shared that, and some of you already know my story, and there's episodes on it. But I'm at this place where it's not even just the weight for me. I am having a hard time. So, like, when you stand up straight and you try to bend backwards, like to stretch your back out, I can barely bend all the way back. Like, I can barely bend backwards. Twisting at the waist is like difficult at the moment. Bending down to touch my toes. Like, everything right now just feels like I'm starting from the ground up. And I'm sore. Everything feels hard, everything feels sluggish, everything feels. I know I shared this already, I think in a couple episodes back. It's almost like you're slogging through the mud. And then on top of that, my normal clothes before I had the baby, they don't fit, or a lot of them don't fit, or they don't fit the same way. And I can just feel the extra weight. And, it's hard to be patient sometimes in the process when you see how far you have to go. And I mean how far you have to go, not even just the number that you want to see yourself go down, but your strength, your endurance, your muscle strength, all those kinds of things that you want to work on. It feels like, is this really going to make a difference if I eat this salad for lunch today? Is this really going to make a difference? And so when you get into the weight loss journey where you're, eating clean and you're taking better care of yourself and you're going for walks and you're putting in those steps, um, and then you don't really feel like much is happening, right? Because it takes weeks. For those of you listening, I know you've lost weight before, and you know that it takes weeks for you to even start to notice that what like the work that you're putting in is working. It's like you're putting in deposits and you're not seeing your bank account grow. You're putting it in and putting it in, but eventually you're going to be like, damn, I'm doing something here. This is working for me, right? So it's like that I'm talking about that point where you're just getting started and you're just you're at the starting line. You're at the starting line and it doesn't feel like you're ever going to get there. And that can feel really frustrating. That can feel really hard because I found myself I was like, Amy, I was like, we got to check ourselves here because it's like, I was looking at pictures from a year ago, January, 1 year ago in 2020, and that's before I got pregnant. I got pregnant in February. And, I was like, damn, I was like getting so close to my goal and I was looking so good. And I was, strong and I was active and I was doing the things. And damn, like this has only been a year and here I am. And it's like, first and foremost, you can't get caught up in that kind of stuff. If you're going through that and you're kind of having that inner fat bitch chatter of I can't believe I'm here again, we got to shut that stuff down because that just doesn't work. You just can't get caught up in that kind of self-talk, that inner fat bitch stuff. So and I know there's some episodes back where you can look at that too and we talk a lot about that. But and that's part of what I'm going to share today is some of the hows. We're going to talk about that. Like how do you remain patient in the journey when it feels like you have so far to go? How do you do this, right? Because here's the thing. If you get impatient and you think to yourself, well, this isn't working. I'm over here eating healthy and I'm over here exercising and I'm over here doing all the things and nothing's happening and I'm still fat and I still feel like shit and nothing's putting a dent in this journey. So I'm going to just throw the towel in. Where does that leave you? Right? That just puts you right back to the starting line and probably even further behind. Because if you're having those kind of conversations and you're feeling like absolute shit about yourself, you're probably going to start using food to get you through those thoughts because you don't have any other way. And you're going to put the weight on and you're going to feel worse. And you're just going to continue the body hate shame cycle. Right? So we have to get out of that. And so, here's the bottom line. When you're just starting out in your weight loss journey, you have to feel like shit for a while. Straight up, facts. You are going to have to feel like shit for a while. And you're going to have to feel like shit while you're working your ass off, putting in the work. So if you're looking for instant gratification, if you're all or nothing, if you're a perfectionist, you always will struggle with this until you start learning how to deal with it. Because you can't snap your fingers and be where you were a year ago. I can't sit here and snap my fingers and have the body I had last January. I've been through some stuff the last 12 months. Okay? And this is where I am. This is where I am, and my body is recovering. My body has to start building strength again. And I can't do anything in this exact moment to change that overnight. So you're gonna have to feel like shit while you're putting in the work and just focus, and you have to be focusing on the bigger picture, your why, what it is that you're trying to get out of this, how these changes are going to help you transform your life, not just from a weight loss standpoint, but from, I'm sitting here like, I want my energy back. I want to be able to bend over without struggling. I want to be able to do certain exercises and it not feel like I'm slogging it through mud. But I understand right now, I'm not where I was a year ago. And if I sit around and worry and stress about where I was last year or 5 years ago or whatever, that is not helpful for me right now because this is where I am. And so recognizing that right now, it's going to feel like shit. It just is. And that it's going to get easier also. But in order for it to get easier, it has to get hard first. And the more I kind of push through, the more I, make these small changes, the more I work on myself, the easier it will become. The easier it becomes. And so for me, one of the things, that I've been doing is, I don't do this go hard shit out of the gate like I used to in my dieting days, if you will. I don't do that anymore because that's going to burn you out. You have to be willing to do things that you can do for the rest of your life. You have to be able to implement small changes so that you don't feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like you're in this all or nothing race where everything has to be perfect. And so one of the things I've just been focusing on the last few weeks is I'm going to just track everything I'm eating. I'm eating well, eating healthy a good chunk of the time, but I'm not necessarily reining it all in completely at this moment. And so I'm working towards certain things. And, I've cut back a lot. I have become a lot more aware because for me, tracking is such an important tool. I can't just eat and not track what I'm eating. I have to be able to track and stay accountable to myself. And, that's fine if that's something that works for you. And it works for me and it works very well. And, I've cut back significantly. I've been moving more. I've been doing more intentional exercise and walking and things like that. And initially, I wasn't seeing the scale go down. I actually saw it go up by 4 pounds. And when I first saw that number, yeah, sure, it felt a little defeating because it's like, well, what's the point of all this? And I thought to myself, well, what's the point if you just get pissed off and throw in the towel and just like take your anger out? Well, this isn't working, so I'm gonna eat whatever I want. What is that gonna do? That's gonna put me in the dark place that I don't want to be in. So for right now, I have to focus on the actions that I'm taking. Knowing that as long as I am doing these actions, as long as I am making these small changes and making different changes every week and compounding those changes together, I am going to get where I want to be. But in the meantime, I'm not going to see immediate results in the mirror. I'm not even going to see immediate results in my weight necessarily. And that's the thing that you have to, so that's why you guys, it's not just about the weight loss, it's about the emotional weight. It's about focusing on the life that you want, the life that you crave, and creating a real transformation that doesn't just revolve around, well, got to lose these 50 pounds by, July 1st. That's not how you want to approach this. And so the second thing I would tell you is that you have to meet yourself where you are. And meeting yourself where you are means that you are mindfully, you're not zombie walking, you're not zoning out, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Zoning out and zombie walking your ass all around is how you end up gaining weight without realizing it. And we're not doing that anymore. We are going to mindfully acknowledge this is where I am. This is where I am. This is the body that I'm currently in. Okay? Because to go back and look at old pictures and go, oh, I looked so good. I can't believe this happened. Oh, like to go back and do that, you're not helping yourself. You're just not helping. That's not helpful. And to also sit there and go, oh my God, I have so far to go. This is never going to happen. I can't do this. It's so hard. That is also self-defeating. Okay? So you might feel like shit right now. Your clothes may not fit right now. You might act, and you know what I'm talking about when you can feel the fat on your body. You can feel the extra weight. Okay? You can feel the extra weight. You can feel the tiredness, the lack of energy, the sluggishness, the just slogging around through mud type of feeling. You know what I'm talking about. And you're gonna feel that way for a while because it takes a while for your body to recalibrate and start actually noticing, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Okay. Right? And I want you to think about however you gained your weight, however long it's been, you didn't gain that weight in a couple days. So why would you expect to lose it all in a couple days or a couple weeks? You know, with Javi, I gained about 60 pounds in this pregnancy, and I can't expect for all that to just go away because because I decided I don't want to do this anymore. Because I decided I don't want to feel fat anymore. Because I decided I want this off of my body. So it just needs to be gone. It doesn't work that way. Right? So it's like just because you decided you're ready to do this, the weight isn't going to just fall off. And you might see the scale go up. You may not see results immediately. And that is when the patience comes into play. That is when you have to practice being patient in your weight loss journey. Because you don't have to love the body you're in right now, but you have to acknowledge it. Okay? And that's exactly where I am. I don't hate myself. I don't sit around and beat myself up like I used to do in the past. I don't think I'm worthless because I've gained weight. Because I know my value is so much bigger than what I weigh and what I look like. And I don't have to, I can love my life. I can love myself. I don't have to love the body I'm in right now. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there that if you hate your body, then the only alternative is, I have to love it. And you don't. You have to feel neutral about it. And that's one of the things I teach my students inside of Irresistible You is let's just get to a place of feeling neutral right now. That's how we ease into this. Okay? And so so I think, and here's the other misconception that's out there, and I know I certainly used to fall into this, is that if I say, I love myself at this size, somewhere that became code for, and that means I'm never going to change. Because if I love myself and I accept myself, then that means this is where I am and I'm never going to go anywhere else. And that is not true. Because if that was true, okay, so think about this. All the times that you have lost weight because you were so disgusted with yourself, because you felt like you were worthless and disgusting and you hated your way through the weight loss journey, how did that work for you? Not very well. Not very well. So there's some kind of misconception out there that we have found along the way. It's one of those rules that we talk about, that if I accept myself or I acknowledge myself or I love myself at this bigger weight, it means that I won't have the motivation to get the weight off. Because the only way to get the weight off is to hate it. Because then if I like it and I like myself, then I'm comfortable. But I want you to think about that logic. And actually, the way to lose weight is by practicing self-love. To lose weight from a place of, I deserve better because I love myself and I know that I deserve better. I deserve to be able to have more flexibility. I deserve to be able to fit into my clothes again. I deserve to feel comfortable in my skin again. I deserve to not be out of breath. I deserve to want to look naked or be comfortable naked again. When you look at it that way, from a place of self-love, of like, I am worth this, I deserve this, it is such a different experience from, you fat, disgusting bitch, you need to get this weight off. Who the fuck do you think you are trying to be cute? Who do you think you are trying to seduce your husband at that size? Who do you think you are? That is disgusting. That is self-hatred. That is never going to work, and that is never going to change your life. That is never going to make you feel irresistible, and that is never going to be sustaining once you get to your goal. So you have to meet yourself where you are, and you do that by mindfully acknowledging this is the body I'm currently in. And I don't have to love it, but this is where I'm at, and I get to love myself while also working towards my weight loss goals. Because there's this other bullshit that floats around the body positivity movement that if you're body positive and you want to lose weight on purpose, that's not a thing. Please stop that. That like frosts my ass when I see that stuff. Because that might work for our skinny girls that are always stressed out about 5 or 10 pounds and they really don't need to lose 5 or 10 pounds. That doesn't work when you actually have like 50 plus pounds to lose. Because getting that weight off your body can be life-saving. It can drastically change your health. It can drastically change your quality of life. Okay? So losing weight from a place of self-love and not a place of hating yourself is completely different. And the reason, so in the program, on one of my guiding principles, we talk about be in the moment. That's one of the principles. And the way that we practice that is we have some strategies around mindful acknowledgement. And notice I don't use the word acceptance, because the connotation that acceptance has that, oh, I just have to accept this is where I am. We don't have to accept shit if we don't like it, okay? We can acknowledge I've gained some weight. I don't like how this looks right now. I don't like how this feels right now. But this is where I'm at. And this is what I'm working with. And this is where I'm starting from. Okay? That's mindful acknowledgement. Because the mindful acknowledgement is also like not being in your head about and trying to control and just hanging on so tightly to, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this is where I'm at. I can't believe I gained the weight. It's this, so here's where the anguish comes, okay? The anguish for you and the impatience comes from you're in between this place of, I can't believe I gained the weight. I look so disgusting. I was doing so well until the shit hit the fan. I can't believe I'm here again. I have to start all over again. I'm so angry. What's wrong with me? All that inner fat bitch stuff, inner fat bitch chatter. You're in the middle of that and, oh my God, I have so far to go. I can't believe I have 100 pounds to lose. I can't believe I have this much weight. I'm never going to be able to do this. The impatience is coming from you. It's like imagine your hands are stretched out to each side and you're being pulled in each direction at the same time. That's where your impatience and your anguish is coming from. And as long as you're so wrapped up and worried about where you were, in 2006, and you're so worried about how far you have to go, you're never going to be able to meet yourself where you are and acknowledge the body you're in right now. And so you will do things out of hatred. You will do things out of sheer desperation. You will do things out of desperation because you just want to escape the discomfort of having to feel like shit for a little while. And that discomfort that you're feeling of having to feel like shit for a little while, you've got to acknowledge that this is where you're at. You know what? Yeah, girl. Them shoes are going to feel tight right now. Yeah, that butt's going to be jiggling while you're walking right now. Them leggings, they ain't gonna fit too good right now. That walk that you're doing, you're gonna be a little winded right now. Making those decisions in the moment about what you're gonna choose to eat may not feel so easy right now. This is where you are. Would you rather go back? Or would you rather say, okay, I can acknowledge this. This is going to feel uncomfortable for a while, but the more I push through the discomfort, I'm going to get to the other side. Okay? So we have to just meet ourselves where we are. That was number 2. Number 3 is to get out of that discomfort, that push and pull of where you were and where you have to go. You have to throw away your self-imposed timelines. Oh, I know. I see you clutching your pearls right now. Okay. And I know when I've brought this up before with coaching clients, they were clutching their pearls too. Because all you've ever heard is like, when you want to lose weight, you have to set a weight loss goal and a timeline goal. Because that's diet culture. Diet culture teaches us that if we don't lose X number of pounds by X date, then we are a failure. Right? So, what I want you to do, I'm not telling you to throw out your goals. You should have goals. Goals are great. But what I want you to do is I want you to just for a minute, I want you to throw away the self-imposed timeline for weight loss. So let's say you have 50 pounds to lose and you're telling yourself, if I don't, we've all done this, if I don't lose these 50 pounds in 6 months, then I suck. If I don't lose these 50 pounds in 6 months, then I'm a failure. And then when that time comes and you didn't hit the goal exactly the way you wanted to, what do? Told you this would happen. I knew this would happen. I can't ever do what I say I'm going to do. I'm such a failure. I'm just always going to be fat and miserable. Why am I like this? And then because you're so angry at yourself, you just slide back into the yo-yo diet, body hate, shame cycle, binging, gaining weight, hating yourself for it, and then looking for the next shiny diet. What if this weight loss journey that you're on or you are about to embark on, what if this was the last time you ever had to lose weight again? How would you think differently? What would you do differently? If someone could tell you, or I could tell you, this is the last time you're ever going to have to do this, because you're going to learn how, not just to lose weight, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself. You're going to learn how to actually love yourself and create the life you've been putting on hold because of your weight. And what if this was the last time that you had to ever actively lose weight again? Because you learn how to do those things I just said. You learn how to have a relationship with yourself. You learn how to stop the inner fat bitch chatter. You learn how to take better care of yourself, to have a self-care routine, to dress for the body that you're in right now. What if this was the last time? Would you be able to throw away those deadlines, those timelines that are self-imposed? And as long as you stand between the place of, I can't believe I have gained so much weight, I can't believe how much I still have to go, as long as you stand in that place and you feel impatient about the process, it will always feel tempting to you to grab and reach for the next shiny bullshit diet. The thing that tells you that you're going to get these super fast results with little to no effort. Why? Because you are so desperate to stop feeling like shit in your own skin. You are so desperate to get rid of the discomfort. So it will always feel easier to do this bullshit detox, these bullshit diets, to get these quick results that are never long lasting, that don't change your life. They don't change your respect, your worthiness, your love, your confidence. They don't change any of those things. They just change the number on the scale. So I'm asking you, I'm telling you, if you want to create the life that you envision for yourself, the life you crave, that version of you that you always see in your head, but when you look in the mirror, they don't align. If you want to create that version of yourself, you have got to practice patience. And one way of practicing patience is to get rid of these self-imposed timelines. Because when you're just going hard about the timeline and I have to get it by July 1st, I have to get this weight off by July 1st or 6 months or by the cruise or whatever, you're not focused on the real changes. Because, you know, what if you went 2 months and you didn't you didn't lose a pound, but in those 2 months, you learned how to stop binge eating from 8 to 11 p.m. because you learned other ways to take care of yourself besides food and Netflix. What if? Would that be worth it to you? What if you learned how to take pride in your appearance, no matter what size you are? Because this journey's not short. So are you just going to sit around and wait until you get to your goal weight to dress nicely, to put pride in your appearance, to get your nails done, to get your hair done, to put your makeup on, to wear cute accessories? Because you're going to be waiting a long time. And the time that you're waiting to treat yourself better, to do those self-care things I just talked about, by not doing them at your higher weight, you are training yourself, you are training your brain that you only deserve to be treated well when you're thin. And that's how you treat yourself. So if that's what you're accepting from yourself, you're also accepting that from other people, that as long as you're overweight, you don't deserve to be treated well. You don't deserve to stand up for yourself. So what if it took 6 months longer? But in those 6 months that you actually learned the things that I'm telling you that matter, the things that I know 100% are the things that you have to do if you expect to get the weight off and keep it off. What if you were able to do that? Would it be worth it to you? Absolutely. If you never had to cycle through this bullshit again, hell yeah. Hell yeah, it would. So let's throw away the self-imposed timelines, and instead, we're going to actually work on not just losing the weight, losing the emotional weight too. Because that emotional weight shows up in a lot of ways, but exactly what we said with when you're in between, I can't believe how much weight I've gained, I can't believe how much weight I have to lose. Those conversations, those thoughts, those feelings, that's emotional weight. And none of that stuff is helpful to becoming the version of yourself that you crave. None of it. So number 4 is that you have to stop focusing on the final destination. Again, that's where that impatience and that anguish comes from, is when you are so hell-bent on, oh my God, I have 100 pounds to lose. This is never going to work. This is so hard. And the work that I'm doing, because here's the thing. If you have 100 pounds to lose, and right now your body, you feel like shit, it feels uncomfortable in the skin that you're in, these little small tweaks and changes that you're doing especially when you're throwing away the timeline and you're like, I'm just going to start like getting under all this and I'm going to actually learn how to love myself, how to have confidence, how to change my habits, how to change all this once and for all. If you're so wrapped up in, oh my God, 100 pounds, how am I going to do this? It's always going to feel hard because that is a lot of weight. 50 pounds is a lot of weight. And it's always going to feel hard when you stay focused on the final destination. Because the final destination isn't the goal. And I know that is so backwards from everything you've ever been told, especially my long-time repeat Weight Watchers. It's always goal weight, goal weight, goal weight. And sure, it's nice to have a goal weight, but that's not the goal. The journey itself, that is the goal. The journey, everything that I'm telling you, everything this podcast stands for, of what it means to be Irresistible You, that is the journey. That is what matters. That is the goal. Go back to my example about dressing for the body you have. If I tell myself when I get to goal, I'm going to wear the cute, sexy sequin dress that I've always wanted to put on. And meanwhile, my entire weight loss journey, I'm wearing, ratty ass leggings, oversized shirts, old ass clothes that don't look right because I don't want to invest in clothes that fit me at different sizes through the journey, okay? If I'm telling myself that, I am conditioning my brain to believe, again, only when you get to goal are you allowed to wear these cute clothes. And so what happens is you get to the goal and you're still not good enough. This was me, guys. Let me tell you something right now. Last night, I don't even know how this happened, but my husband and I were like laying in bed looking at our phones together, and we were just like reminiscing on old times, and we were looking at old pictures, and I start scrolling I'm like way back, okay? I'm like pre-kids, right? And it was right around the time when we were engaged, and I had lost, a lot of weight for our wedding. And let me tell you, I have no shame. I look good, okay? I look back and I look at these pictures and I'm like, damn, girl, like, you were like on fire. Like, this is everything. And I even I turned the phone on, I showed my husband, and he was like his mouth was like on the floor. He was like, who is that? Like, I mean, I was like just curvy and just, I mean, okay, let me stop. um, but, okay, this is 2021 Amy looking at 2010 Amy. And 2010 Amy, even though she had lost so much weight, she still wasn't skinny. I'm never going to be skinny, y'all. It's not my goal. But I still wasn't at what I considered my goal weight back then. I was still curvy. I was still a size 14. But the way I was carrying my weight, like, I still thought I was so fat. And I remember telling him, there's this picture of me in this like really sexy purple dress around the same time. And I had worn it to his Christmas party, and I had also worn it to my company party at the time. And I remember I had put that dress on, and it was like a satin dress. I was like really in right at that time. And I never in my life had been able to wear a dress like that because there's no give. Like, there's literally no stretch, no give. I never thought I would be able to wear a dress like that. And I remember at the last minute going to the mall, I found the dress, I put it on, and it fit like a glove. And I sat in the dressing room and I cried because I thought, oh my God, I've never been this girl who could wear stuff like this. And I cried. But I still felt not good enough. Because I remember, even though it was like form fitting and it was showing off the curves and all this, I went to his party and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, his coworkers probably think, I can't believe he's married to that fat pig. And that just makes me so sad because I look back and I'm like, no. And I told him, because he never knew I was thinking those kind of things back then. And he just, my husband doesn't see that at all. And it doesn't matter what anybody else sees. What matters is what you see. And my point in going into that story with you guys is that if you, and that's the thing, on that journey, I just wanted the weight off so I could look good on my wedding day. Okay? If you don't learn how to treat yourself at 250 pounds, you're going to still be that same girl at 180, 170, whatever, okay? Because you haven't learned how to enjoy the journey of learning how to do better, how to treat yourself better, how to take pride, how to love yourself, how to feel worthy. So the weight loss will never feel like it's enough, right? Because people would compliment me, they would say things, and I would do the thanks but I have so far to go. I'd be like, thanks but, oh girl, if you could see what's under these Spanx, you wouldn't be saying that because everything would be jiggling and jumping all around when I take them off. And when you don't learn these things and you're just doing it because you have a self-imposed timeline, because you're impatient about the process, I don't care if it's weight loss surgery, a mommy makeover, whatever, it won't be enough until you have this better relationship with yourself where you drop the emotional weight too. So stop focusing so much on the final destination, because the journey, that's not the goal. The journey itself is the goal. The journey is where the magic happens. The journey is where you learn not how to lose weight, how to change your damn life. Because how you get there, how you get to your goal weight, how you get there is who you will be when you arrive. So let me give you an example of that. You're on a road trip, and it's one of those road trips where everything's going wrong. Flat tire, you get pulled over for a speeding ticket. Just, it's one thing after another on this road trip. And you're running late as it is. The kids are screaming in the back seat. You and your partner are going at it, okay? If that's how you go on your journey, hectic, stressed, annoyed, angry, flustered, when you arrive at grandma's house or auntie's house or Disney World or wherever the hell it is you were going, how do you think you're going to be when you get there? The exact same way. You're going to carry that energy into the place you're going, because that is who you were on the way. It's not going to just go away because you got to their house. If you leave on time, everybody is having a good time, everything goes well, and even if you get a flat tire, it's okay. It's all how you handle it, right? And you've got a good attitude about it, and you're just laughing and playing music and singing, and just everybody's enjoying themselves. How do you arrive at your destination? You're going to carry that energy. And it's the same thing with your weight loss. And so many of you are going through your weight loss journey with the inner fat bitch chatter, calling yourself names, belittling yourself, saying that you're worthless, hating your way down the scale. And then you wonder why you get to your goal weight and you look skinny, but you still hate yourself. Or you have gastric bypass surgery and you're thinking, why didn't this work? It's because of all these things I'm telling you. So to practice patience means you have to stop focusing on just getting to the final destination as quickly as possible. Because where you are right now, sitting in the discomfort, slogging through mud, that's part of the journey. And if you don't learn how to talk better to yourself, if you don't learn how to take small steps while you feel discomfort, how are you going to be comfortable? You have to you have to go through this in order to get there. There is no magic workaround. And the reason you have always been on the yo-yo diet body hate shame cycle is because you're so desperate for a workaround, and it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There is no magic button. The magic button is doing the hard work that you've been avoiding. Magic button is dealing with the stuff that you constantly run away from. That's the magic button. Because losing weight, let's be very clear, okay? Losing weight feels good. It does. It does. When you're able to fit into your clothes, you're able to wear things you've never been able to wear, you're able to sit in chairs without having the worry, okay? When you can do things without stressing out about a weight limit, when your numbers, your blood panels go back to normal, that is a beautiful thing. And that is life-changing. But that is like a new car. And eventually the new car gets chicken nuggets and goldfish all over it. And we stop parking at the end of the parking lot, and we start getting dents and scratches because we park at the front. Okay? And the new car smell goes away. So when that new car smell goes away, when that weight loss high goes away, you're still left with you and how you did it. How did you get there? Or again, how you get there is who you will be when you arrive. So if you go through this journey at your highest weight, let's say you're pushing 300 pounds, okay? And you do feel uncomfortable, okay? But you're learning how to stop the inner fat bitch chatter. You're learning how to think differently, how to talk to yourself. You're learning how to build a relationship with yourself. You're learning how to meet yourself where you are. You're learning how to take pride in yourself and not hide behind the weight. If you were doing all of that while losing weight, think about just where you're going to be when you arrive at your goal weight. Because then your goal weight becomes like icing on the cake. Because you're not sitting there telling yourself, well, when I get to goal weight, then I'm going to do all the things I just said. Because you're already learning how to do them, and you're training yourself that you are worthy no matter what body you are in. Because you may have 100 pounds to lose. Maybe you get down to 50 and you feel really good at that weight. Are you going to be okay staying there? If you're doing all this stuff and that's a healthy weight, between you and your doctor, great. But if you could lose 50 pounds and still not feel good enough, still feel like you're worthless because you're not doing these things that I'm telling you that matter. So the journey is the goal. Learning how to make these changes, that is the goal. The weight coming off is icing on the cake. It's a byproduct. Just like the weight itself is a byproduct of something else. It's a symptom. And just another little tidbit here. I did share this in another episode, but I think sometimes it's good to hear things, and sometimes you haven't listened to every episode. But just a little tidbit here that I find really helpful. When you have 50 or more pounds to lose, and you can, no matter what you have, but I mean, whatever amount of weight you have to lose, I find it very helpful to look at 10-pound decades. Okay, so let's say you have 100 pounds. I look at those as decades. So for example, let's say you're in the 260s. Your goal right now is to get out of the 260s. And that's where you stay focused. You don't worry about what if I can't get to, lose 100. Like, you're just focused on these 10-pound increments. Okay? And it takes as long as it takes. But again, what if you never have to do this again? So you're telling yourself, if I get out of the 260s because I'm learning how to do this the right way this time, I never have to see this decade again. and you can say goodbye to it. And you just keep moving down the decades until you get to where you want to be. I just find that really helpful, because it's just an easier way to chunk it out and to really not feel overwhelmed. And it also helps you to be more patient in the process. This is going to be a test of your patience. This journey is such a small part of the physical. It's such a small, like, weight loss is just hardly any of it is about food. Hardly any of it is about the like what to eat, when to eat, and how to move. That's like such a small piece of this. And you've got that in the bag. The part you have to the part that you have to overcome, the part that you have to learn is the emotional part, the mental part. When you can conquer that, there's no telling how far you're going to go. When you can conquer that, you're then on your way to the life you crave. You're not just losing weight for the sake of losing weight. You're gaining a life. You're gaining the things that you've been putting on hold and using your weight as the excuse as to why you can't do things. And so maybe that's your fear. It's like, well, I've always told myself when I lose the weight, I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to have to do it. Well, then you got to work through that stuff. Otherwise, you will stay stuck in this cycle. And this cycle isn't fun. The yo-yo diet, body, hate, shame cycle is not living. It's you existing. And I want so much more for you. I want you to have the life you deserve. I want you to look in the mirror and have that vision for yourself, and they align. And they may not align today, but as long as you know you're working towards it and you're making progress, then you feel some type of way. You feel that confidence coming back. Okay, so these are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk more about this inside of the free Irresistible You podcast discussion group. If you are not a member, please request to join. Go to Facebook, type in Irresistible You, look under groups. You'll see it, request to join, and we will continue this discussion there. The best place to also interact with me is on Instagram at Irresistible Icing. If you're listening to the podcast or it has helped you in any way, please use the hashtag Irresistible You or tag me at Irresistible Icing, and I would love to see what you're up to, what episode you're listening to. And also, if this has helped you in any way, I would love it if you go to iTunes and leave a quick rating and review. Lastly, if you like this podcast, you will absolutely love my Irresistible You group coaching program, where we go even deeper into these topics. I teach you the Irresistible You framework. I coach you. I give you all the tools and resources that you need. And if you want to enroll or you want to learn more about the program, just go to irresistibleicing.com/course. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.